Last week we finished George Washington Carver, so that was our last bit of history for the year. So we have been working on um, Shakespeare in place of things that we finish before the end of the year. And this was actually supposed to be our play for the end of the year. And so each of us do have parts that are deemed for you. I'm going to read through this, and this is just what we're going to be practicing in the place of history. Shakespeare is part of history anyway, so it kind of fits. Okay. This is the tragedy of Julius Caesar, and we are doing Act 3, Scene 2. And we begin with Emmeline. Emmeline's line. I'm going to pause to let Emmeline do it first. We will be satisfied. Let us be satisfied. And then Lucia has her line. And due to the fact that we're not going to be able to do it, I'll go ahead and read Lucia's part. And in the future, though, I won't be reading everybody's part. Then follow me and give me audience, friends. Cassius, go you into the other street and part the numbers. Those that will hear me speak, let 'em stay here. Those that will follow Cassius, go with him, and public reasons shall be rendered of Caesar's death. And then Leighton has her line. I will hear Brutus speak. And Chiyomi's line. I will hear Cassius and compare their reasons, when severely they and we hear them rendered. And John will say, the noble Brutus is ascended. Silence. Lucia, be patient till the last. Romans, countrymen, and lovers, hear me for my cause, and be silent that you may hear. Believe me for mine honor, and have respect to mine honor, that you may believe. And Sam will pick up and say, censure me and your wisdom, and awake your senses, that you may be the better judge. If there be any in this assembly, any dear friend of Caesar's, to him I say that Brutus's love to Caesar was no less than his. If then that friend demand why Brutus rose against Caesar, this is my answer. Not that I loved Caesar less, but that I loved Rome more. Had you rather Caesar were living and die all slaves, than that Caesar were dead, to live all freemen? As Caesar loved me, I wept for him. As he was fortunate, I rejoice at it. As he was valiant, I honor him. But as he was ambitious, I slew him. Then Caleb picks up. There is tears for his love, joy for his fortune, honor for his valor, and death for his ambition. Who is here so base that would be a bondman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so rude that would not be a Roman? If any speak, for him have I offended. Who is here so vile that I will not love his country? If any speak, for him have I offended. I pause for a reply. And everybody says, none, Brutus, none. Jacob speaks. Then none have I offended. I have done no more to Caesar than you shall do to Brutus. The question of his death is to enrolled in the capital, his glory not extenuated, wherein he was worthy, nor his offenses enforced, for which he suffered death. Here comes his body, mourned by Mark Antony, who, though he had done no hand in his death, shall receive the benefit of his dying and place in the commonwealth, as which of you shall not. With this I depart. And our pre-K will say, live, Brutus, live, live. And then Leighton, bring him with triumph home unto his house. And Chione, give him a statue with his ancestors. John, let him be Caesar. Robert James, Caesar's better parts shall be crowned in Brutus. Ezra, we'll bring him to his house with shouts and clamors. Joshua, my countrymen. Chione, peace, silence, Brutus speaks. Leighton, peace, ho! And Joshua, good countrymen, let me depart alone, and for my sake stay here with Antony. Do grace to Caesar's corpse, and grace his speech, tending to Caesar's glory, which Mark Antony, by our permission, is allowed to make. And Joshua continues, I do entreat you, not a man depart, save I alone, till Antony have spoke. Then John, stay, ho, and let us hear Mark Antony. Ezra, let him go up into the public chair. We'll hear him. Noble Antony, go up. Josiah, for Brutus' sake, I am beholding to you. Robert James, what does he say of Brutus? Emmeline, he says for Brutus' sake, he finds himself beholding to us all. And Robert James, 'twere best he speak no harm of Brutus here. And Ezra, this Caesar was a tyrant. And Leighton, nay, that's certain. We are blessed that Rome is rid of him. Chione, peace. Let us hear what Antony can say. Josiah, you gentle Romans, and all the pre-K will say, peace, ho, let us hear him. Josiah, friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after him. The good is oft interred with their bones. So let it be with Caesar. The noble Brutus hath told you Caesar was ambitious. If it were so, it was a grievous fault, and grievously hath Caesar answered it. Joseph will continue on. Here, under leave of Brutus, and the rest, for Brutus is an honorable man. So are they all honorable men. Come I to speak to Caesar's funeral. He was my friend, faithful and just to me, but Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. He hath brought many captives home to Rome, whose ransoms did the general coffers fill. Did this in Caesar seem ambitious? And then Malachi, when that the poor have cried, Caesar hath wept. Ambition should be made of strainer stuff. Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and Brutus is an honorable man. You all did see that up the Lapracol I thrice presented him a kingly crown, which he did thrice refuse. Was this ambition? Yet Brutus says he was ambitious, and sure he was an honorable man. I speak not to disprove what Brutus spoke, but here I am to speak what I do know. You all did love him once, not without cause. What cause withholds you then to mourn for him? O judgment, thou art fled to brutish beasts, and men have lost their reason. Bear with me. My heart is in the coffin there with Caesar, and I must pause till I come back to me. Okay. So next time we read this, that's the only time I'm going to read all the way through it. Next time when we read this, I will only be reading our parts, and I'll just tell you who is not in our class is going to be reading it. And that's it for today, for history.